So in search of spirituality, are we really in search of spirituality, or we sort of found the path of spirituality? Continue sending your meditation experiences to Master Glenn Global Meditation at gmail.com. I'll try to summarize them at some point in time. I want to show you a concept that this is what we call Master Choa's different levels of truth. There are different levels of truth. Looks like there's a delay, huh? There's a different levels of truth. It's like the lowest level is in spirituality. It's like a parable. The Lord Jesus was asked, how come you teach people in parables? And the Lord Jesus said, I teach them in parables because they have eyes but see not, they have ears but hear not, but to you are given the secrets of the kingdom of heaven, or the kingdom of God. So there are different levels of truth. There are different levels of spiritual truths also. So that's what Master Choa wanted to show you on this concept of different levels of truth. That the truth is dynamic and it's not static. It is moving forward over time and changes over time, and depends also on our spiritual development. Okay, next, I'll show you, this is what we call the, it's a 12th century, this is a 12th century story, and I'm adapting it to our 21st century amidst the coronavirus lockdown. In the 12th century, there was this Zen Buddhist monk who wrote something about, it's called it was 5 pictures or 7 or 9 or 10 pictures. It does drawings that he had, but this means different ways. It means also levels of inner meditations, inner meditation stages. It could be also a stage of enlightenment. It could also be search for oneself. You understand? It could be a way for enlightenment. It will give you, hopefully it will give you a stage of where your development is now, and at the same time gives you a development of your stage in meditation. Zen is very, very too mental, too intellectual. Example, they have what we call a koan, K-O-A-N, a koan. It's a Zen koan. It will give you a koan and you will meditate on it. Do you understand? Say, example, the koan, what does a one hand clapping sound like? I want you to think about that. What is a one hand clapping sound like? People will meditate on it. When the Zen master says, I want you to meditate on it, and the monks will meditate, and they will get different levels of it. So you realize you could imagine different ways of doing it. Yes or no? But we're smarter. We're on the 21st century. We have a smartphones. You could just Google it. What does a one hand clapping sounds like? You don't have to meditate. I don't know if that's the right way to do it. So they were saying a koan is one hand clapping, is one hand is your higher soul, or one hand is God. Does it make sense? Ah, interesting. I thought it was one hand clapping was the sound of one hand clapping, wherein you raise your hand, the other one is God or your higher soul, depending on what level it is. You understand? So these pictures that I'm going to show you, I'll try to walk with you and see where we are on this, what we call, it's an ox and a ox herd. You know, I don't know, I guess, but okay. So the first picture is actually the search. You are in search. So write down in your book, the first day is search. I've been searching. Who among you are in a search? I want raise hands. Who are you who are in search? Yes, yes. And the thing to do was that you were in search, but you don't know what you're searching for. Yes or no? You feel empty, but you don't know what could to fill you. Yes? So look at this, just in search. The pictures itself, the old one is the one on the right side. But by and large, we are in search. We are in search. What have we filled it? We are in search of something, but we don't know what we're searching for. I just want to, because there were some really, really nice ways of doing. We were in search. We were in many directions. We're moving around the world. We're traveling around the world. We're changing careers. We're changing partners. We're changing spouses. We have promotions. We have money. We have titles. We have different kinds of things. But what we were searching for? We have Netflix. We have distractions. Think about it, what you were having even before the coronavirus. You were looking for meditation. People are sick. On the other end, people have drugs. People have alcoholism. And sometimes we were in search because we were physically sick. Or sometimes we could be emotionally empty. Or sometimes we could be mentally empty. Or spiritually empty. So people are in search. We don't know what it was, but we were in search. And we could still be searching now. This could be a lifetime thing. We are in search. We were in search also. At a young age, I wanted to meditate. I thought by meditating, I could find it. I thought meditation will make you find a way. And you will find that later on in some of the pictures, trying to do meditation, hoping that we could find enlightenment through meditation, just like the Lord Buddha. Make sense? So ask yourself, what did you fill in with the search? Sometimes the search, these are what made us get stuck. We jump from one relationships to another, hoping that we could find that. We travel. In the olden times, they traveled to the Himalayas, give up their family, give up their marriage and their practice and their career to look for this search, to look for what they're searching for. Okay. Next. Okay. So we are in search. Who can identify with that? Raise your right hand if you could see that you were in search. As I said, at a young age, 17, we searched it, but only when we found pranic healing that we realized, the search stops here. It gets all our answers. I'm not saying the only path there is pranic healing. There are a lot of ways to find your search, your group, your teacher. Okay, so that's basically the search. So you could see the ox herder, I guess this is the 21st ox herder, they're looking for it. Then you seeing the footprints of the higher soul, there was that. Seeing the footprints, just saying, yeah, it's vague. They were saying was that it looks like it's vague, but they're footprints. And what was this footprint? The coronavirus was the footprint. It gave us something to look for and follow, at least for some of us. Does it make sense? The footprints are that, oh, there is something in there we don't know. Actually, the footprints may be more in a different way. It was showing us a path. There was a time to withdraw. There is time to do some inner reflection. Then there's time to realize, he said, we have to look for this path. And we searched for it. And we meditated and meditated and meditated. And not only that, we meditated in numbers. And not only that, the higher energy came. The teacher's energy came. The beings of light and love came. God's energy came. Because there was a need. Or there was a need. Or was there a filling up? So we tried to look for these footprints. We were searching for it. Now we found some footprints. We don't know what it is. And some of you in the stages, I'm just there right now. I'm looking for the footprints in my life. Footprints that I have to follow, the path that I have to follow. And try to find out also, how is it relevant to you? Okay, next. After seeing the footprints, you see a glimpse of the ox or the bull. See on the right side, see the actually in some paintings, the ox is actually like black and later on it becomes white. That means the mind itself is trying to really be illuminated. So we're seeing a glimpse of the bull. The bull could be your higher soul. The bull could be the answer to your emptiness. And that's what I see in you in your meditation. It became deeper. There seemed to have some contact. But see, just a glimpse of the bull doesn't mean that we are enlightened already. Just because we meditated for 60 days doesn't mean that we're there already. It needs more. It needs practice. It needs a way of life. It needs a lifestyle. It needs discipline. In India, they call it sadhana or spiritual practice. So we see ourselves, some of you stayed because you've seen the bull and you continued. There is something in here. There is something good in here. And the effect is in my life. So from something that is self, something that is solid, you're tapping into something that is subtle. And we cannot explain it because our mind, that glimpse, our mind is also changing. Our mind is also adjusting to the signals of the higher soul. I mean, the higher soul is not us, but us in a certain way. So the bull is actually in some places, they said it's the soul. It's the soul that we're looking for, that we're trying to get a glimpse of it. Then guess what? The next one, we're trying to catch it. We're trying to tame it. Look at the bull on the right side. It's a black colored bull, and we're trying to use a rope. We're trying to use anything that we can to tame it. So some people said it could be our mind. We have to tame our mind. We have to have a mind discipline. Yes? We have to discipline our mind. So when we close our minds before, there was just a lot of thoughts, a lot of empty, moving thoughts. It is eating us up. So we don't know, look at this, we don't know which is the mind or which is the soul. And same with your meditation. You don't know if it's a signal of the higher soul or is it your mind processing. When I see a light, some of you see lights. Am I seeing that? Is that real or is that my mind? When you're seeing symbols or as I mentioned yesterday, one person says, I see my soul living. my body, is it leaving your body, or is it part of you that is leaving, not the soul? So these are interpretations that we have to process as we catch and tame the bull, our mind. Actually, the soul, we don't have to tame it. We don't have to catch it. We just have to surrender. If it's the higher soul, or our Buddha nature, according to the Zen people, we just have to surrender. Does it make sense? So where are you now? So, looks like majority of us are probably in catching and taming the bull, catching up and trying to find out about the bull. I hope this is interesting for you, as it was for me. Then when you tame the bull, did I miss something? So we're taming the bull now. Look, we realized we could tame our mind. This is probably where most of us are now. We are actually taming our mind. With the meditation, we're taming our mind. We're becoming friends with our higher soul. Remember what I said? A person was knocking from inside. Our higher soul has been calling us. We didn't realize that we're knocking from inside the door. We're knocking on the door, maddeningly knocking on the door. Then we realized we were knocking from inside. We just have to open it. Open the door, because the soul is on the other side. So now we're trying to become friends with our higher soul. I know you. I could get in touch of you in deep meditation. This is where some of you are actually, this is experiencing some oneness with the higher soul. And in a meditation, you've been having that. So this is where later on, once you tame the soul, once you tame the mind, so what happened? I start to ride home. I started to ride home. That means I am in control, partially. I am in control. So think at one point in time, okay, so this is actually taming the bull, then now actually riding the bull home. There is a struggle, but the struggle seems to be over. The higher I, or the soul, unifies the whole. This is what we want. We're sitting on the bull, we're sitting on the ox or bull, and there's a, look at the right side, there's a playing the flute, so there's harmony. There's harmony in our life. And the ripples of effect of our thoughts and actions are very clear to us. So at least this is what the roadmap is. What I'm trying to tell you, that this is our roadmap to our spiritual practice. Okay, now let's move a little further so you could see that. Then riding home, you transcend other. So you keep on meditating. So our struggle, we still keep on meditating. Doesn't stop here. The bull is transcended. Look, on the right side, there's no more bull. You realize the bull and you are the same. You ride the bull home, you meditate, the bull rests also, you see the dawn of a new day, and you don't need a rope and a whip to control the bull. Life is just easy. There's oneness. The path is now clear. So this is ultimately probably where we're going to end. And not only that, at the same time, we transcend the self and other. This is oneness. Everything is transcended into oneness. Oneness is no thing, not a thing. In Kabbalah, it's called Ein. In Chinese Buddhism, it's called Kung. In India, it's called Sunya, emptiness. They're all the same. No rope, no whip, no person. Here we can see the footprints of those before us. And actually the last one, was 9, is the source. We became one with the source, one with the higher soul. We become one with the higher soul. We can see everything. At least this is our goal. And it doesn't stop there. Once a person has a certain degree of achieving oneness with the higher soul, you go back. You go back to where you were before. It's called, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. You still do the same thing, but there's harmony in your life and you share it. You could go over it. It's called the Zen OxHerding pictures. There are 5, 7, 9, or 10 of them, but this one is 10, and they updated over time. You're talking about 12th century. And those pictures on the right side were of the 12th century, actually in China. And the modern pictures, I just like, it looks comics. So we were in search. The coronavirus forced us that those are the footprints. We showed us some footprints and we started looking. Then we realized, like most of you, you are looking within. We are actually looking within. There's an inward reflection. Our awareness becomes inward. Tomorrow we'll do the family meditation, but we'll start on inner reflection. So we're going to start on inner reflection. These are the tools that we need to move ourselves moving forward. I just found out here in the United States, some states are opening in different phases, whatever it is, but I've heard in other countries, one thing about the coronavirus, all of a sudden we just keep the news close to where we are. For whatever reason, this is probably the closest we get to see the different parts of the world. Saudi Arabia, Sydney, Australia, that kind of thing. And I heard in India, the coronavirus is starting to hit New Delhi, Mumbai, and other places. We don't know the degree, because number one, we just want to know what is happening within our city, within our town, within our country, and not to do that. So we don't have a choice but still bless the entire earth. So going back to the OxHerding, we were in search. I compare it to what we've heard. We were in search. We don't know what we were in search before coronavirus, and we were filling it with whatever we need to do. We were filling it with distractions. We were filling it with our successful career. We were traveling different parts of the world. We were filling it up, television, anything else. Then you realize we were withdrawn. And when we were withdrawn, we started doing some inner reflections ourselves. And usually we find out that there were some footprints of the bull, or footprints of the divine, footprints of our higher soul, which we wanted to look at. And in our meditation, first, the gap was that we were giving others. In giving, trying to bless the rest of the world while they're having problems and we seem to be okay, we didn't realize that we were starting to have a mirror in between. When we had a mirror, we are seeing ourselves, and we are actually meditating and going deep within ourselves. Does it make sense? I'm trying to summarize what your experience have been. And as you start to look yourself, you look deeper and deeper. And so far, you are doing fantastic. The key in all of this was that we have to invoke. Once you invoke, the teachers will be protecting us. So anytime you do meditations, we will have to invoke for that. Okay?